Welcome into the live stream here from McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. I'm Neal. That's Tyler.
What it is, sir. That's me.
Oh, I could tell you a whole lot of what it is. I could, depending on just how much time you got, I could dive into a whole lot of what it is. I'll tell you what it is.
We got about 58 minutes.
I could dive into a whole lot of what it is. That's for sure.
All right, I think I got everything out. I'm pretty sure. We're gonna go with it anyway.
I could dive into a whole lot of what it's not. Also, as a matter of fact,
I'm scrambling today. If you can't tell,
I am too. I've been in scramble mode basically all morning. I don't really know why. I do know why, but yeah, just scrambling.
The between the portal coaching changes and deleting accounts, switching accounts, got coaches moving here, got to deactivate them from here, got to activate them over there. It's crazy. It's been a busy day.
Yeah, I was thinking today was probably a pretty busy day at Quick U.
A little busy day today. And we launched we finally got Apple is an asshole, by the way. I love you, Apple, but
yeah,
when you trying to get stuff moved to the app and approved. So I'm gonna get this off my chest before we start the audio file.
Mm-hmm.
You send it, like, this has been done for a week or whatever it was when we talked about on the show that day. So you send it off to Apple. They just take their time whenever they want to look at it to approve it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't approve it at like 2:30 in the morning, and they tell you, well, because your improvement deals with location services, which we already had on there, but hey, it needs this video to go with it. So my guy does the video, he sends it back. So you wait another day or two, and it come back and says, oh, it's not approved because of this. And so you know how I work. And poor old Austin that works with us, he's our CTO, and I don't deal well with things like that. I said, I got a great idea. How about let's call the guy or email the guy and say, tell me everything I need to do and send to you so you approve it. Instead of saying, no, add this. Like, we would add the thing that they asked for,
mm-hmm.
and then they would come back with something else. How about just tell me everything I need? And they're just their own people. So finally, though, we got it approved on, I believe that was Friday morning for the app. So it's been live all weekend. So been going great.
Good.
So thank you, Apple, for your week and a half of bullshit that you put our company through.
Remind me when we get started. I want to go to Wesley Crockett's question right
Okay.
off the bat. Wesley's having fun, but I want to go to this topic because I'm literally fascinated by a lot of the portal stuff.
Let's just start with the portal when we go.
We'll
just start there.
We'll start with portal because
sounds good.
I have
You have thoughts?
I have a lot of questions about portal, about portal coverage. I really do.
Okay.
Like legitimate questions that I have that we'll dive into it.
Yeah, let's do it.
When you restart your computer, everything that you've had laid out on the bottom that you had it in the order you wanted it, they're like, no, we're going to put it back in our order. And you're like, no, damn it. I had it the way I wanted it.
Did you update it?
I just had to restart it,
Yeah.
because I had to delete a whole bunch of stuff. And it was just.
I love it.
Welcome into episode 138 of McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. I'm Neal McCready. That is Tyler Siskey here on this Monday, December the 4th.
I'm all, see?
You're way off. That's okay. It's all right. It's okay. No one would have ever known. 2023, 3 weeks from Christmas. So early Merry Christmas to everyone out there as this holiday season. It feels like Christmassy kind of today in Oxford, the little bit that I've been outside. It feels good. We're brought to you by Rain Total Body Fuel, 300 milligrams natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, zero sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits and achieve your goals. Check them out on Instagram at Rain Body Fuel to learn more. And don't forget, all of our MPW digital content is brought to you by Twisted Tea. Are you ready to elevate your college football game day experience? Sure you are. So check out Twisted Tea, your go-to game day beverage for college football fans. It's unlike any hard beverage you've had before. It's made with real brewed tea, packs a flavorful punch, 5% alcohol, no carbonation, delivering the perfect balance of taste and refreshment that goes down smooth for every game day occasion. I like the word smooth. Smooth. Smooth comes, it's a smooth word. No need to settle for the usual. Twisted Tea turns up any occasion, especially when you're cheering for your favorite team. Whether you're tailgating in the stadium parking lot, watching at a bar, or hosting friends at home, Twisted Tea is there to elevate game day experience. Perfectly complements your love for college football, your passion for creating unforgettable moments. So let's toast unforgettable game day experiences with Twisted Tea, the drink that fuels fun and celebrates your love for college football. Keep it twisted.
Neal, I'm rocking the Harvest Grape today.
Yep.
And my man Bob, I think he's traveling this week. I think he's in Seattle. I forgot to ask him. I know he's traveling somewhere, but he reminded me today that how epic our Vegas and Boise trip would be this year, because he's a Northwestern alum and they are playing in the Las Vegas Bowl.
Oh, that would have been good.
So he would have partaken in that part. And then our guys at Georgia State are playing in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl.
December 23rd.
We would have had a blast.
Yeah.
We probably could have done a live stream during the game and got Sean Elliott on the live stream during the game.
Almost certainly.
That's my dude.
Yeah.
Him and Brian Landis, my guys.
I love Georgia State. I cheer for those guys.
Yeah. I'll bring them back up when we talk about the portal here in just a second.
Okay.
But before we do that, Neal, did you know that the Cooper Chevrolet chat is already hopping to the point that you're ready to attack it? You're ready to go get the Cooper Chevrolet chat?
Yeah, I'm ready to address Wesley's question because his question's a really good one.
But before you do that, Neal, I just want to remind you that right now at Cooper Chevrolet, the 2024 Equinox, you can take $5,000 off MSRP.
How about that?
The 2024 Equinox. Make sure they got 4 more available at $5,000 off. Make sure you call area code 256-236-4481. That's 256-236-4481 and tell them that McCready and Siskey sent you, and they will give you an additional $1 off.
Austin, thanks for the super chat. Congratulations on running the St. Jude 5K. I know a bunch of people ran the St. Jude half marathon. I guess a lot of people ran the marathon. Congrats to everybody who did that. It's a big accomplishment to go run 13.1 or 26.2, or in this case, a 5K. Even it's more than a 0K.
If he would have drank a rain before he did the 5K,
he would have just kept going.
He'd still be running like Forrest Gump. He'd be like halfway to St. Louis by now.
He'd be on his 200K right now.
Yeah, he'd be halfway to St. Louis by now.
That was one thing when you run a marathon, you don't ever think about like how many Ks it is. And you get to like 40K and you're like, no shit. Wow.
They should market that. It makes you feel more accomplished.
Yeah. Well, I did. I remember thinking, oh wow, that is 40K. And how about that? Yeah, because if you get to 40K and you got like 2 miles left.
Oh, really?
Yeah. 6.25 is 10K. And so when you run 20K, you're at 12.5. When you run 40K, you're at 25. So you've got another mile, 1.2 miles.
Piece of cake.
At that point, I mean, you're like,
at what point?
What's another K?
Not that I'm ever going to do it. Matter of fact, I can guarantee you I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
At what point, and I've heard this though from people who do it, at what point is it just like you're going to make it?
About 18 miles.
Like there's no, I've heard there's like a certain time where you're like, the rest is easy.
I got it.
Yeah.
You start thinking that at the halfway part. You hit 13.1 and you're like, okay, well, everything's downhill from here. And then it's kind of a grind for about 5-6 miles.
And then you're good.
And then you get to like 18, 19, and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to hit 20 in a minute. Once I get to 20, even though you have another 10K left at 20, you don't think of it like that.
Hey, before you get to, I'm going to go to the Cooper Chevrolet chat very quickly before you address yours and we get to Portal Crazy. Ginger in the Cooper Chevrolet chat says she was in the Anniston, Oxford area over Thanksgiving. What were you doing in Anniston, Oxford area? And did you see my statue behind the porta potty? That's probably the great question there. I swear, hey, that's a great place right there.
All right. Well, she's answering that profound question from you.
Yep.
Wesley says, Neal, you haven't posted 100 articles of potential portal prospects yet. First of all, Wesley, thank you. I get the joke. All right, but here's the real part of this. I'm being serious. I need.
I got a fresh dip in. Let's go. I'm here. I'm here for you.
This is all right. You know what? We're going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
I'm here for you.
This is life advice. I need life advice.
You do.
I do. No, I truly do. Life advice presented by State Farm agent Cole Walters. Cole is licensed in auto, home, life, health, business, and pet insurance for the whole state of Georgia. Contact Cole at 706-525-7850. You can also find him at colewaltersinsurance.com. All right.
How can I help you, Neal?
All right. I admitted out loud on Sunday at rebelgrove.com that our recruiting coverage is inadequate. Now, a lot of people go, why do you do that? I'm like, well, because that's what I think. That being said, and that's the first big thing. You put it out there. I get it. It needs to be better. I canceled a weekend vacation I had planned with my wife because I'm gonna go stalk 17 to 22-year-old boys and find out what it feels to be a true creep again.
Sorry. I shouldn't laugh. I'm sorry. Go.
That's
That's why I wouldn't be a good therapist, because I'd laugh. So.
Yeah, well, it's okay. But the people, like, okay, I'll give you an example. It's a linebacker from Arkansas. Pooh is his nickname, Paul.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, Pooh. Does he take big poos?
I have no idea. He's in the portal, and Ole Miss has offered him. And I was told Ole Miss is interested in him. Now, he has also been offered, just based on his tweets today.
Okay.
Auburn.
Yep.
Missouri. Mm-hmm. UNLV. I don't know. I'm sure there's 15 others. Because I've tried to tell people, and it just goes in one ear and out the other. And this is the part that I struggle with. Because I think I'm pretty transparent.
You are that.
The offer is no longer a real offer. The offer, hey, we're offering you a spot at Ole Miss. What it really means is we need you to come visit. We need to have a sit down. There's exceptions, right? I mean, who's the top receiver in the portal? If he calls and says
Lacey from South Alabama.
Okay, yeah. If he
Colin Lacey.
If he calls most schools and says I want to come, they're like, okay, cool, come on. But get here and let's
talk business.
Let's talk business, right? So the offer is basically, hey, come to Oxford. We'll sit down and talk. Make sure we're a good fit, and if it is, we'll hook you up with our Grove Collective people. I mean, I'm just being real. I know it's not supposed to happen this way, but this is what happens. They're going to reach a contract agreement. They're going to negotiate a contract for a 1-year deal. Here's how you're going to get paid monthly starting in X once you enroll. Give you this much up front, whatever. They're going to negotiate a deal. We call it NIL. It's not NIL. It's a contract. It's pay for play. I'm fine with that. Whatever. Who cares? But that's what it is. Now, I could write a column or an article, I should say, about how he fits. Isn't it sort of self-explanatory how he fits? You've already put up his numbers. He played at Arkansas. He posted whatever tackles or whatnot. He fits in that he'd be a linebacker on your team. I mean, I don't, to me, that's that stuff it's not even, people say you're being lazy. I don't view it as lazy. I just view that as like excessive, stupid. Of course he fits. He started at one SEC school. He started at another school. He left because he wasn't pleased with the way they were playing. But I'd like him to tell me that, right? I've reached out to him. If he responds and I get to talk to him and he tells me how he fits. But I'm not a football guy. I don't know precisely how Pooh Paul, and I'm using him as an example. Pooh, if you're listening, first tell if you see my Caroline run around Fayetteville, tell her I said hello. And then after that, don't worry about it anymore. I don't know how he fits. I'm not a football guy. But if I did that with all 200 people that Ole Miss is going to, quote, offer, end quote, out of the portal over the next 3 or 4 days, that's a lot of busy work for the 6 guys that they actually add. Aren't you better off waiting until Pooh Paul comes and visits? Maybe you get to talk to him, and then maybe he says, yes.
If Pooh Paul comes and visits.
If he visits. And then if he signs with, or not signs, he reaches a contract agreement with Ole Miss to transfer to Ole Miss and play. At that point, sure, you dive into, okay, who's this guy and how does he fit?
Yep.
The rest of it it's not a matter of being lazy. It's a matter, I've always looked at this and said, well, what's the ROI on that? And the answer is there isn't any. And so I'm saying this out loud. This is the life advice part. Mm-hmm. I'm in the wrong field right now. It's changed. I don't fit this job anymore, meaning the rebelgrove.com part of the job. I don't fit anymore. It no longer makes any sense to me. I look at it and think, and I had one guy goes, I just want it to be like it was.
It will never be.
And I said, well, here's the deal. And I'm not trying to be mean. That ship has sailed. Not only has it sailed past the horizon, It has hit an iceberg and is down at the bottom of the sea next to the Titanic. And by the time you try to bring it back, it's just going to be a rusted hull of itself. It's never coming back the way it was.
No.
But here's the thing. And 95% of fans, or maybe more, get it. But the ones that don't, that want it to be the way it was, are very, very vocal. They're the ones that shape a lot of opinion. And they don't believe you. Now, I get not believing me. But we're talking about Ole Miss fans here. Lane Kiffin just got Ole Miss. You've coached at Ole Miss. You know how hard it is at Ole Miss.
It's hard.
Lane Kiffin just won 28 games in 3 years. And 2 out of the last 3 years, he's taken Ole Miss to a New Year's Six Access Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I'm guessing that Lane Kiffin's popularity among Ole Miss people right now
pretty high.
Pretty up there.
Pretty good approval rating.
They don't believe him either.
No.
He tells them that it's not the way it used to be. It's free agency. It's pro sports. Whatever term Lane uses, he kind of talks about it in a different vernacular than I do. But I think we're saying basically the same thing. They don't believe that either. I'm at a loss.
All right, so I told you when I came in, I had a whole post. I came so close to hitting enter, and I didn't. I was like, I didn't want to. I felt like I was going to step on your toes, and so I didn't do it. And then exactly what you're saying is like, hell, they don't listen to their own head coach. They're not going to give a shit what I think. I do it every fucking day of my life. Okay, every day.
Dealing with coaches all over the country.
I will tell you this. I spend more time in the recruiting world than head coaches do because I do it every single day, 365 days a year.
And so when you say that, explain to the people what they mean. So a coach from, let's say Georgia State. Okay. They're one of your clients.
Yep.
Coach from Georgia State hits you up and is like, hey, we need some help at linebacker.
Yep.
Since we're talking about Pooh Paul.
Yep.
Again, apologies to Georgia State, apologies to Pooh Paul. We're just random here. But they hit you up, and so you
I would go find the guys that fit
their
schematically profile. Or whatever the profile that they can go get and recruit, not waste their time on.
Right.
Like last year, they killed it in the portal last year. They went and got some guys from Clemson that really helped them this year on defense at linebacker.
Yeah.
And my man Brian Landis, let me tell you something. They recruit really well there. They evaluate at Georgia State. Those guys, they do a great job, even in high school, evaluating players.
And so they're sorting through the portal today too, like everyone else is. And
well, they're sorting, and they're trying. The hard part about the Group of 5 level right now is you're getting rated. Okay, so what wasn't a need yesterday is all of a sudden an emergency need.
Right. And so
that's the problem.
They hit you up and say, "Hey, what are we?"
And you're 2 weeks before signing day.
We just lost a linebacker. Got any thoughts?
Hey, got any? Who's out there? Whatever. Right. But anyway, long story short is it used to be. Okay, and when I say used to be, we're talking, 5 years ago? It was, hey, this guy, this high school kid, he's going on official visits here, and you would get somewhere, and I'm going to be real here for a minute, okay? It's a top guy. He's going to visit, used to have 5, I guess you still do, 5 official visits or unlimited, whatever the hell they are now. But
yeah.
You knew with about 3 people that he went to go visit, okay, he would go to any of those schools. But what were they going to do under the table for him?
Yeah.
Okay. But here's the difference. Okay. Let me help you out here.
Okay.
And I want the fans to understand this. Let's say it came down to 3 schools. And he was like, and then he wanted to see what was going to happen under the table, the black market recruiting. But regardless of what came up in the black market, the prices were so low that the coach, the school, what I wanted to do for an education, my quality of life, all those things were so much more involved in the decision-making process.
100%.
Because the money, quote-unquote, black market, or what you were going to do for me is so close money. You know what I'm saying? Because there wasn't that much money involved.
$1,500.
Maybe.
Right.
Whatever. Allegedly.
But you're way past the statute of limitations. You're good.
Not yet. But here's the deal, is now we're talking about, hey, look, this guy right here, hey, I can go here, I can get 250.
Yeah. I
can go here, I can get 400. Or now they just came in with 650.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Screw the 250.
It's out.
It's out. Now you're talking about a big range of money. I'm talking about, all kidding aside.
Here's the difference.
This is how big it is, Neal.
Yeah.
Between school choice 1 and school choice 2, could be the difference of what would have bought you 2 Heisman Trophy quarterbacks 10 years ago. That's how this is crazy. So things have changed. Reporting has changed. Okay. You heard me on the phone before we went live, correct?
Yes.
Okay. There is a quarterback right now. Okay. I'm definitely not going who's out there, all that stuff.
No, but I know who you're talking
there's
about.
a quarterback right now.
I can vouch for the veracity of this.
Okay. There's a quarterback, okay, that had a deal done before he went in the portal, pre-portal. Okay. He announced he was going in the portal. All of a sudden, that school, he's going to this school. Now, the original school comes back, and now it's competing. And then all of a sudden,
there's a third school.
There's a third school that pops in because their quarterback's going to leave and go to the draft.
Right.
So it literally changes. By the way, that's happened in the last
5 hours.
Yeah. That's how much it changes. So I say all that to say this. When it comes to the portal recruiting, besides, hey, he's an experienced player, we'd love to have him, you have to get offering, and that's why it's gotten to the point, what you were talking about last week, it's gotten to the point where offering is kind of like you're offering a high school kid to come to camp.
Yes.
Hey, we want to recruit you. We would like for you to come here so we can sit down and go over the business part.
It was a placeholder.
But nobody's calling. Yeah, you're trying to get them there to sit down and discuss it.
Yes.
But this
like NFL free agency, and the goal is when they get them to campus, you get the deal worked out on campus. Like, you don't want them to leave the facility or to leave and go on another visit, because your odds of landing the guy dissipate if he leaves his visit without coming. And so in the old days, the high school visit, they'd come in and you took them to the club and you took them, you showed them around, and mom came and she went to one thing, and then the kids went and partied. And then they got back together on Saturday, and you did academics, and you met with the individual coaches, and you had a big lunch in the end zone, and you had some more meetings, and you did some fun stuff that afternoon. Maybe you went to a basketball game, and then you went back out that night, and the parents went out, and by then you kind of had a feel for, hey, who's the decision maker here? And that's who you were working on. Those days are done.
Long gone.
They're done. And people say, even among high school guys? Yes, even among high school guys, because now
at this time of year, all that stuff takes place a year ago.
Yeah, but it's rendered useless. Here's the part that I get frustrated with, because it's like, why don't you hire a recruiting guy? Well, number one, I can't find one. But number two, here's where I'd be really frustrated right now if I had a recruiting guy. He would have spent the last year building relationships with high school kids.
Meaningless. That
are utterly meaningless when a school comes in and offers $25,000 more. And that's what happens, right? One school decides, hey, and this is not, by the way, I'm not casting aspersions. This is just business.
It's just what it is.
It's just business. One school comes in, let's say, hypothetically, a kid's been committed to Ole Miss for a while. Okay. Another school, hypothetically, makes a coaching change. The coach comes in, he's throwing together a class, he's popular, he's got some newfound NIL money, and they go, hey, let's do 2 things. It's good business, by the way. I mean, I'm not picking on this hypothetical situation. He goes, let's do 2 things. Let's throw some money at them. One of 2 things will happen. We'll either get them, or we'll make Ole Miss spend more, and they'll have less to spend on other guys. Super smart business. It's just business. But that happens. And so the, quote, relationship that the recruiting reporter built, and I love that word, the relationships. I've watched guys who tell me about relationships actually see the guy in person, and the kid looks at him like, I don't have any idea who you are. I mean, there's so many times I wish I had that on film, because I would just die laughing.
Well, they don't realize that there's 3 or 4 at every single
at every
school,
place, right?
And it's just hard to keep up with.
So it just isn't what it used to be. And there's a desire, I guess it's nostalgic or I don't know what it is, but it's just business now. But the kid knows now, hey, I can take more money, and if it doesn't work out, shit, I can hit the portal in a year. In a year. Look at how many guys are hitting the portal today with 4 years of eligibility remaining.
Yeah. So
I took the money, it didn't work out, or it did work out, and now I want to see what I can do.
Now I want to see what I'm really worth.
And I want to see what I'm really worth, because they've been pre-portaled.
Yeah.
And so that's just where we are. And yet when you say that, the thing that people say to me is, you're being lazy. the other one. You're conditioning people. I'm not condition. I'm not a cult leader. I'm not conditioning anybody. I'm just telling you the way it is. But I've reached the undeniable conclusion. It's past me.
Well, no, I just think the business has changed, right?
and me have just.
Yeah, I think it's
we're gone.
I will say this though. I know you say that, but the recruiting part, nobody's here for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that it's past. It's not that you've passed it or it's past you. It's past everybody. Like the day of, hey, this guy's come on visitor. He's in the portal. Every single portal guy's like, hey, we got to go get him. Well, sure, great. That's like there was a thing on your board about Walter Nolan, right, at Texas A&M.
Yeah.
For the first person that says, oh, we don't need to go get this guy, man, what the hell are you talking about? The guy's going to be a first-round interior defensive lineman.
Yeah.
Hand-raised guys, those don't fall off trees.
No, those are the guys that, I mean, frankly, you should be going. It's like Shohei Ohtani.
And they're not that expensive.
Right.
Like, people are talking about $2 million.
No.
Okay, let me explain something.
It's not that much.
I know who it is. It would shock you. I'll tell you afterwards.
Okay.
There was one quarterback, and it's not even who you think it would be. There's one quarterback in the country that made $2 million from the collective this past year. One. Okay. It would blow your mind. Now, he was a good player.
Okay.
But it's not Caleb Williams, I'll tell you that.
I think I know who it is. But.
And you can go, the D linemen are starting at about 250, and they're going up to about 500. And then the bidding wars start, right? Then you can get an extra 100 here, whatever it is.
Sure.
You're not going to pay $1 million for defensive linemen. But I can tell you, so you got $2 million? Shit, you can go get about 5, 6 of them. Really good ones. Like, I know all SEC guys, freshmen, 250. So it's not as bad as everybody thinks it is, but people are hitting the market. And I said this, I did Tony's show again Friday.
Tony Basilio in Knoxville.
Did his show on Friday. And I said, I kind of came to the realization, I don't think I would ever never sign another high school quarterback if I was in the Power 5 level.
Probably not. Not unless it was one of those special ones that just.
But I don't know if I'd do that. And here's why. You sign a special one, you go get you the Nico.
I was going to say Nico.
You go get you a Arch Manning. You go get one of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
And they end up being the guy, they can hold you hostage every single year. And
if you get them out of the portal, you get a couple of years out of them, and then they go to the NFL.
You get them out of the portal. After 1 year, you go get them out of the portal. Hey, this portal's slam full of them, and it's not over yet. The young kid, Oregon State has no quarterbacks left. Yeah. Their starter and their backup, the guy that ended up playing really, freshman's really good. Probably going to go to Michigan State.
Where's Dante Moore going?
That's the one. Which one is that? Oh, that's UCLA. I don't know yet.
Yeah.
But you got a Dante Moore. Here you go. The guy's the #1 player in the country last year. Quarterback. Got to play some this year. Man, you go get that guy, and now guess what? You got him for 2 years. He can't go anywhere because he's not going to graduate.
Right.
And he can go out and win the damn Heisman Trophy next year, and he can't hold you hostage.
Right.
Like, that's why it's an advantage. So you could pay him whatever you paid him this year. I'll pay you the same thing next year, boss.
Or give you a little more. Whatever.
I'll give you whatever,
sure.
But we're not. You don't have to come out and hold us hostage.
Right.
And like Quinshon Junkins here at Ole Miss, if he wants to, he could hold Ole Miss hostage every single year. Every year.
He could.
He could.
Yeah.
Allegedly. I like how you don't want to. You got lockjaw on that one, didn't you? But if he wanted to,
I suddenly just have no words.
You suddenly have no words. But you get what I'm saying. Like, he goes out and has a good year. There's nothing to keep. He can go hold you hostage and just keep getting more money instead of taking them out of the portal. If you can get a guy like that, the best time to get them is after their freshman year. And those guys are very popular. Look at the quarterback, Max Brown at Florida. He's a dude. He is a dude. Somebody's going to get him for 2 years and maybe a third. You never know. 2 and maybe 3.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a guy. I mean, you go get those cats.
I'm trying to remember where I saw him linked to today.
Well, they're linked everywhere because it's the same people that are in the market. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I heard something specific on him, and I can't remember what it was.
You know who's in the market for a really good quarterback?
Most everyone.
Everyone that doesn't have, if you don't know who your starter is next year, everybody's in the market.
Yeah. So it raises the price.
It raises the price.
And so it's like there was a story. I'm on Shohei Ohtani obsession, right?
Okay.
There's a story that's out today that the Braves might be involved. Well, anybody that follows this probably knows the Braves aren't involved. But if you're the Dodger, if you're his agent and you want to really drive the price up on the Dodgers, okay, your client wants to go to the Dodgers. but you want to get every nickel you can get for your client because that's your job as an agent. What's the one team in the National League that would scare the bejesus out of the Braves? I mean, out of the Dodgers.
The
The
Braves.
Braves. And so you go, hey, imagine him in the Braves lineup. Think about that for a minute. You know how you didn't want to do $600 million? I bet you do now.
Yeah.
It's just business.
Well, that's what.
And so, you know,
Jimmy Sexton is the best at it.
and so if I'm Jeff Lebby, yeah, and I've got a few extra thousand here and there to throw at kids that are committed to Ole Miss, I'm either gonna get the kid or I'm gonna drive the price up. And so that's what you do. That's where that's the part of the portal that. But like you get these people and they still write these stories that are like they'll quote the kid going, "It just felt like home." And to me, that just feels super disingenuous.
Yeah,
at the upper Power 5 level, right? Sure, if a kid's going to Eastern Michigan and he chose Eastern Michigan over Miami of Ohio and Utah State, and he goes, you know, on my visit, it just kind of felt like home. Okay, cool, I get it, cool.
Well, and then at the end of all this, that's lost in all of this is the group of fives, the really good group of 5 schools are just getting rated, and that's what I was going to bring up with like Georgia State. I mean, Georgia State's running backs in the portal. He's one of the best running backs in the portal. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They do such a – so you're at this position. All right, let's take Georgia State. I'm going to brag on my guys here for a second. Landis will send me guys to watch, I don't know, 2 or 3 times the last couple months. Every time he sends me, hey, what do you think of this guy? I'm like, damn, dude, you got to take that guy. They evaluate as good. They find guys. They work. Here's what I love the way they recruit is they do it, I guess, the older way to where they actually get boots on the ground and they go work their ass off and grind and find dudes. They got more. They find more kids than you'll ever shake a stick at, and then they develop them. Okay, but once they're developed,
they pay the price because then the kid gets the big offer, and what's he going to do?
What do you do?
Oh, you going to look the kid in the eye and go, no, you probably shouldn't take the $500,000. I mean, is that what you're going to do?
But they got rated last year. Came back, had a great year. They just keep doing it, and it's just so frustrating because what wasn't a need yesterday, all of a sudden is this need. What 2 weeks before signing day? You can't just change your needs 2 weeks before signing day. This isn't a video game,
right?
And you know what I'm saying?
Sure, 100%.
Like roster management is already a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Imagine doing it because we're talking about SEC and the Power 5. Roster management at the Group of 5 level is a nightmare.
Yeah,
it's a nightmare.
Yeah,
because you can't.
And I think it's why some of those guys, when they get opportunities, they're just going to go. They're just going to go. I mean,
because you're one player away from. I mean, you never know. I mean, I don't know, man. It's just goes back to the original thought. I'm convinced that the take that I had during the summer or back in the spring that everybody hated me on. You're starting to see people starting to come around to my take that were killing me on it about a year ago.
Which was what?
Which was if I was the NCAA, I would eliminate an immediate, not the portal.
Yeah.
Portal your ass off. If you want to leave, go. Eliminate immediate eligibility, the one-time transfer rule. And if you want to transfer, graduate from college. That's your one free transfer. And
yeah, I'm with you completely, by the way. It's like today I saw people are like treating this like Christmas. You know, it's Christmas morning. Oh, it's the portal. And I get it. And there's a lot of news, a lot of clicks. I don't find it to be a particularly celebratory day. That's all. I mean,
let me tell you who it's a bad day for. It's a bad day for all these high school recruits that have been committed, and all of a sudden, of a sudden, hey, I'm taking 5 offensive linemen this year, and all of a sudden, some lineman pops in the portal. Somebody's got to go.
I won't be specific at all. It's not Ole Miss. That's all I'll say. Because otherwise, people are going to think it's Ole Miss. I know of a high school commitment who was committed to a school who came in and asked for a minimum raise on his previously agreed to NIL deal.
Mm-hmm.
And it provided the opportunity for them to get out. Because they'd like, nah, we're not doing that. Because basically they want to use that spot for the portal.
Yeah.
There's somebody in the portal that they didn't think would be in the portal, and they think they can get him. And so that's...
And you've provided an avenue, and here's the truth. You've provided an avenue for the coaches, okay? I don't know if you noticed what happened in Starkville this year when a guy got 10 games. We've provided this avenue. Coaches, you don't have time.
Oh, yeah, and if you can get out.
If I got a chance to go get a kid that can play right now and is ready to go,
yep,
I gotta go with that guy because if I don't, I'm gonna get my ass fired. And then it sucks. And again, nobody's yet to answer my question because it hasn't come up yet. It's coming. Just like my man Neal says, just wait on the TV deals. It's coming with fan apathy. Just wait. Eventually, Neal, the portal is going to run out of players because we're not taking high school kids.
Yeah,
I mean, well, it's just a matter of time.
And what's going to happen is we're going to get, you're already seeing it, right? There's a lot of copycat that's happening. Look at the SEC. The two programs that I'm not counting 2020 because in my world, it doesn't count. So the two programs that have third-year head coaches that are in the all New Year's Six game, Missouri's in the Cotton, Ole Miss in the Peach. They both went 10-2. Have a lot of similarities. They really do. When you get past personalities and Lane and Juice and all that stuff, and you just talk about, okay, how did Lane rebuild Ole Miss? How did Eli Drinkwitz rebuild Missouri? Really similar. Really similar. Both got way ahead on NIL. They were kind of way ahead of the curve on NIL. Way ahead of the curve on the use of the transfer portal. Used it very effectively, thoroughly.
Hit in the transfer.
Now they hit, yeah, but I credit them for that, right?
Some people used the portal; it didn't work out so well.
It didn't work out well, but
you got to hit.
They both used it and hit.
Yeah.
But my point is that we all live in a copycat world, right? I mean, if I do something really well, there were in this market, nobody was doing podcast until all of a sudden Chase and I were doing podcast. Podcast started working, and all of a sudden, not only are they doing podcasts, but they're hitting up the same damn sponsors that we had.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's copycat world. It just is what it is. So what do you think some of these programs that are struggling, that we're trying to build with high school kids, what do you think they're doing now? They're looking at Ole Miss. They're looking at Missouri and going, got to do that.
I guarantee you Arkansas is in the market.
Arkansas is big time in the market, right? So that's what they're doing. Vanderbilt. It's a big conversation at Vanderbilt right now. Behind the scenes is, hey, we got to drop some of this academic bullshit because if we don't do portal, we have no chance. And look at them. And look at them. Their whole rosters in the portal. I mean, yeah. It's chaos in Nashville for them. So that's what's happening. So what does that do? That raises the prices, and it raises the prices, and it raises the prices. And so when people say, so full circle on my whole rant here, that's not really a rant, by the way. It's just a conversation. So when people goes, you ranted, I really didn't.
That's what we do.
But I don't think this was a rant. Full circle is when they go, I have a mailbag question for Wednesday that's, who do you think's realistic in the portal? And my honest answer, not smartass, as of this moment, I have no idea. Like, I don't know, because with Ole Miss, for example, how much is it going to cost to retain Quinshon Judkins? Do they ultimately decide that that's too expensive and they don't retain Quinshon Judkins? I don't know the answer to that right now.
Dart's going to get a raise.
Yeah, Jackson Dart's going to get a raise.
You got to do something with a high school.
I believe
backups.
I believe they're going to keep Caden Priestcorn another year, but that's going to cost them. What's that going to cost?
He grad transfer, right?
He could grad transfer. So yeah, he has leverage.
Yeah, if you have a grad transfer, you got leverage.
Yeah.
So it's really your young ones and your old ones.
Yeah. So you're paying to keep established guys, right? Mm-hmm. They're going to try to keep Trey Harris another year. They're going to try to keep Jordan Watkins another year.
Trey Harris needs to stay.
Yeah, but the point is that some of those guys probably are approaching the point where they could graduate and hop in the portal in the summer
and check their value
and bolt somewhere. So you got to pay them to stay. So when you get through doing that part of your
Trey Harris would get a nice payday if he wanted.
Yeah, so that's my point, right? Is that it's kind of like a baseball team. Okay, well, before you go jump into free agency, you got to figure out all your arbitration guys. Mm-hmm. You got to negotiate. Like if a guy's going to arbitration and he just had a big year, you're like, okay, well, we were paying him 2.7 last year, but in arbitration, he's going to get 17. And so you try to negotiate a deal with him to get 14, or maybe you do a 2-year deal. You get all that stuff done, and then you go to the winter meetings or whatnot and figure out, okay, we've got this base figured out. Now we can say, okay, we need to add a starting pitcher. We need to add a third baseman. We need to add a corner outfielder, whatever the case may be, right? It's the same thing with football. So before you can really address the portal, you got to address internally now. It's where it's a brand new world. And then you have kids like the high school kids that just came in a year ago. They're like, well, hey, I could technically jump in the portal right now and see what I could get. And you don't want them to jump in the portal because so you have to negotiate deals with them. And then you got guys on your team that you're trying to get out so that you can open up spots. So here's the other thing. So the answer to the question, and it's a really good question. There's not a thing in the world wrong with the question, but the answer is I don't know. And anybody that tries to go, well, here's a list of, Yeah, I mean, I could pull up a list of 100 guys in the portal and go, they'll get 6 of these guys, and probably be right. But that just feels like really crappy journalism to me. But that's where I think the field has passed me by in this particular genre of the field. I truly believe it.
Here's the thing with roster management you talked about. That's an interesting point. Let's go back to August. Let's use Ole Miss for an example, since we've got a ton of Ole Miss people here.
Yeah.
You got Aiden Williams and you got Perkins, right?
Yes, Suntarine Perkins. Mm-hmm.
How much effect did both of those guys have on your season this year?
Perkins had a bit of an effect. He faded late. He hit the wall.
But just
Aiden Williams, really none.
How much do you think they're going to affect the future, though, or could?
I mean,
the talent's there, right?
Potentially a ton. Yeah, sure.
So you get in a situation where I got to go get, Walter Nolan, and I got to go get this guy, this guy. I got to pay Quinshawn. I got to Dart, and all of a sudden you look up and you go, I got X amount of dollars left, and you get down to the point,
right,
to where, do I have enough money to keep these guys? Because if you don't think they're going to be tampered with, somebody else is going to offer them a bag.
Oh, everyone's tampered.
And so then you get, okay. I know Aiden Williams didn't play for me this year, but I got to go pay him X amount. You get in this huge roster deal because, like you said, it was either last week or the week before last, so forgive me, but this turns into a deal where you're going to have to start paying kids that have not even produced for you yet.
Yeah.
At that level, you got to pay them elite numbers just to keep them from going and playing against them.
Because if they can get 100,000 somewhere else, that's what they're worth.
Yeah.
If you can get it, like if I can get someone to pay me $5 million a year to write for their newspaper or website or whatever, don't tell me I'm not worth $5 million. The hell I'm not. Someone paid me.
Well, you get in a situation where, like Trey Harris, right?
Sure.
Okay. In any world that you live in, as we sit today, do you pay Trey Harris more or do you pay Aiden Williams more on your team right now?
I mean, the one that produced was Trey.
So that's what I'm saying. You're on a team. Who are you paying?
Trey.
Okay. But then all of a sudden he gets pre-portal tampered with, and they offer him, they offer this the Aiden Williams kid the same price that Trey's getting. What do you do? Like, you're in this quick catch-22, right?
And so people go, well, just keep getting more. And that
will work, but it's easier said than done.
Yeah, it's easier said than done, because at some point you're hitting up the same people over and over and over for money. And then here we are in December, and at some point somebody goes, hey, listen, I don't know if you noticed, but Christmas is in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And you're asking me to give you enough money that would pay for my family's European trip.
Yeah,
how do you justify that at the house? I'm with you. I still think, although I'm wavering in this thought process, I still think a course correction is coming. But I'm not as convinced as I was a year ago. A year ago, I would have been defiant about, a course correction is coming, and now I'm like, I don't know, maybe not.
All right, that was life advice provided by Cole Walters, State Farm.
Good job.
Thank you, Cole. All right, I'm not talking about this today. I'm going to say my one. Y'all have talked about it, I think, all morning. I'm just going to say this, and I'm going to be done with it.
Okay.
I know you disagree with me.
You know what? I don't really disagree with you. I'll say this, and then I'll let you have your thing, and then we'll move on.
I don't even want to talk about it. I feel like we have to.
I know the committee did the, quote, right thing, but God, watching it yesterday, it didn't feel right. Does that make sense?
No, it does, because it doesn't matter whose side you're on here. Everybody has a legit argument.
Yes.
Okay. And I feel terrible for Florida State.
Sure.
I do. I feel terrible.
I know you do.
All right. But at the end of the day, the College Football Playoff Committee was formed to take the computer aspect out of it and put the human element in to get the 4 best teams. One of your posters posted this, and I went and looked it up, and he was absolutely right. If the BCS formula was in place today, the top 4 teams would have been Michigan, Washington, Alabama, and Florida State. So, according to the BCS formula, Alabama would have been in regardless. So the argument's really between Texas and Florida State, right? Everybody's talking about this Alabama SEC thing. But the argument BCS formula-wise would have been between Texas and Florida State. With all that being said, I think I don't think it was a very difficult decision because of the way that they've done things. I think the very first year of the playoff, they had to decide between Ohio State, TCU, and Baylor. and it came between Ohio State was a conference champ, and then I think Baylor was a conference champ, whatever it was, but they didn't have a Big 12 championship game that year, and so that's how they let Ohio State in. So there was precedent on this. They just took the 5 Power 5 champions. Okay, so that kicked Georgia out, and did the who's the 4 best of these 5, right? And at the end of the day, I think they got the 4 best teams in today. And you can argue about the Jordan Travis thing. Obviously, it had an effect on it. If Jordan Travis plays, the whole deal, does it change things? That's where I get into the conspiracy world a little bit. I don't think there was any world that we're not going to have an SEC team in there, in my opinion.
Agreed.
And we can go there. But at the end of the day,
I'm good.
I know. I don't want to get you started. But at the end of the day,
I don't have enough passion left for it.
I know.
Yeah.
But if you look at their schedule, let's just be fair. They were like 67 and 70 something. Their strength of schedule. They played Clemson that won 8. They played LSU that won 9. They played Louisville that won 10.
Yeah.
If the other 10 teams they played, their average record was 4 and 8.
Look, at the end of the day, the one thing I will say, when they get through being mad at the committee, they should get mad at the alliance, because that's what held up the 12-team playoff. They could have been this year, and they would have been in it.
Yeah.
But I feel really bad for them.
I feel bad for
I
them.
felt sick for them watching that yesterday.
And then Bob,
they did everything that they did everything that they were tasked to do.
I mean, if we were doing truly the 4 best teams, Bob's right. I mean, if we were doing the 4 best teams, and that's what we're doing, it'd be Michigan, Georgia, Texas, and Alabama. That'd be the 4. So that would have been the best. I just don't think they could have done that. With Washington, I think those 4 are better than the other ones. But anyway, it is what it is.
We're brought to you by Athletic Greens. I drink AG1 by Athletic Greens literally every day. I gave AG1 a try because I wanted better gut health, sustained energy, immune system support. I just hate taking pills. I drink AG1 every morning. I love knowing I'm doing something good for my body, giving my body the nutrition it craves, and covering my nutritional bases. Covering my nutritional bases for the day literally couldn't be easier, which is why I trust Athletic Greens. I just mix 1 small scoop of AG1 with water. Actually, I do it at night, let it get cold, drink it first thing each morning, done. I also like that it costs less than $3 a day. It's pretty good. If you ask me, it's a really effective daily habit with the highest quality sourced ingredients. It's a win-win. If a comprehensive solution is what you need for your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. So go to athleticgreens.com/MPW. That's athleticgreens.com/MPW. Check it out.
Just for further proof on our portal discussion.
Yes, sir.
You remember that phone call I was on before we started?
I do.
Now that quarterback is now leaning on staying, even though he was going 40 minutes ago?
Yes.
Yeah, 50 minutes ago. Yeah, so now he's talking about staying, so that's going to change the sweepstakes. It's just how it goes, man. It changes daily. All right, let's talk a little bit of coaching stuff, and then we'll get to make it rain, what everybody's here for. All right, Willie Fritz leaves Tulane, goes to Houston. I kind of pieced this one together. That's why I was kind of glad you took Tulane in the picks there, because I knew that UTSA was working on a deal they had a strong deal and it was almost done with Jeff Traylor.
Ohio State has 12 guys in the portal today.
Oh yeah, they're going to.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So Willie Fritz was kind of the natural deal. Good move for him. He's probably going to get $1 million raise out of it a year. I think he's getting 4.5 a year from Houston, and they're in the Big 12. So watch for a lot of Tulane guys in the portal heading to Houston. So that's the move there. Watch for Pratt to be the quarterback at Houston next year. Wink, wink. All right. And I needed to go Jonathan Ingram. I saw Jonathan super chat. Thank you, Jonathan, earlier. He was asking about why did Matt Luke take the job at Clemson? Thought he was waiting till his boys were out of high school. Yeah, this has been going on for a while. Obviously, I can't say some things because of close friendships. I'm happy for him. It had to be right. He had some stuff last year that was he almost took last year, did not because of the family. Per sources, it's 84 miles from doorstep to doorstep, so it's close to home where his family is. I don't know anything other than that about what they're going to do, but they got a lot of stuff going on personally in the family right now, praying for them and their family right now. But look, it had to be right. Matt's as good as it gets.
Super guy.
He's a hell of a ball coach. I'm happy for him. I think the game is better with him in it. I think he's going to help Clemson, especially the recruiting world and the portal world and things like that. I think he's going to do that. Dabo's a good dude. I think it's a really good fit for the type of people and family people they are. Also going at the same time as Chris Rump. I work with Rump at Alabama. He's a stud and a great human being. So, yeah, I think it's a good move. I think Clemson got better today. And I think it's going to help them. They're going to do just as much help for each other. But, Matt's young. Matt's my age. He's 46. He's got to decide, do you want to sit around the house for the next 60 years, 50 years, how long he kicks it for. But I'm excited for him. I love him to death. It means the world to me. And I had a feeling that this – I will say this. When I initially got wind of it, he didn't tell me, by the way. I got wind from it from somewhere else last week. So I called him. I said, what are you thinking? It's like, I'm 60-40. And then he goes – he finished the conversation with, yeah, we are going to be opening up with Georgia next year. I said, oh, we're already huh? So I kind of put two and two together pretty quick on the conversation. But I love him to death, man. I am tickled to death about him and his family and that opportunity. And like I said, the most important thing is the game is better with him in it. I think he's one of the best. All right. Last thing, I want to give a shout out to my good friend, Neal McCready, and the ULM Warhawks.
Yes, sir.
They're hiring my guy, Bryant Vincent. So Bryant and I were known each other forever, worked with him at South Alabama for 3 years. But
we can take the road show to Monroe.
We could do that in a heartbeat. Hartwell, the AD.
Yeah.
Got some good connections down to Warhawk land. I guess we got to be Warhawk fans now. I guess we. But no, Vincent was the interim.
I could drive you over to Ruston, take you back behind the janitor's station there at the high school and show you my statue.
Okay.
Yeah.
You started concerning me a little bit. You talking about driving around behind something. I was like, hey, Neal, no. What we doing? I know you're taking this backdoor McCready shit serious.
I'm doing a lot of soul searching. I'm not doing that much soul searching.
But
I'm pretty secure in that decision.
Yeah, I think he's going to do a really good job there. I think it fits. He's a grinder of grinders. He'll recruit. He will turn over every stone. That's what they kind of need. I'm excited if he'll get it done there. He does a good job, and he does a good job with toughness in his players. So I'm excited for him there. And the last thing, I'm going to leave it at this. I'm going to make this real quick, and I'm going to leave it at this. Really, the three ones that are still open are Duke, Tulane, and James Madison's got a big budget. But I'll just leave it this. If you're a fan of the McCready and Siskey show, I'd keep a really close eye on what happens at Duke, Tulane, and James Madison in the next week or so. I'll just leave it at that. There's not a lot I can say other than that, Neal. So apologize. But if you're a fan of the show, just keep a close eye on what's happening at Duke, Tulane, and James Madison. All right, Neal.
Maybe with multiple friends, huh?
You never know, Larry. You never know. We never know. If you're a friend of the show, just pay attention.
Okay.
And Neal, it is time. This is the greatest thing ever. We couldn't plan this out.
I'm totally at peace with whatever happens tonight, to the point that I'm not sure I'll even watch the game. And here's why.
You're so full of shit because the Bengals are playing. You'll be watching. Don't tell everybody.
Joe's not playing.
I saw you say that. And there's zero chance you don't watch the game. Now, if it was the Jets and the freaking Browns, you probably wouldn't be watching. But the Bengals are playing. Your ass will be watching.
Hey, Siri, when do the Oklahoma City Thunder play?
You'll have it on one TV, guaranteed. Yeah, they don't play it Wednesday. Your ass is watching tonight. You're so full of shit.
But here's where I'm at peace.
So admit that you'll be watching.
I don't know, man.
You're so full of shit.
I don't know. I don't know. Here's where I'm at peace, though. If I win somehow, if the two teams combine to score 38 or less, you have to go do the whole. And I think they're going to score more than 38. I think that was a really good bet.
The line is actually moving up. It's at like 39.5 now.
Yeah. So yeah, they're gonna pass that number.
Probably not because I bet on it.
But that'd be funny. But honest to God, if you don't, like the thought, no joke, of me just by myself getting to go travel someplace and hey, you know what? There's not a flight for 3 days.
Hey, all kidding aside, before we plan this thing, if you lose, all right,
I will vlog it and I will send y'all all you want.
I know, but what's our time frame here? Like, how much time?
Just let me get past the signing day thing.
Yeah, no, I know that. Trust me. I'm not dealing with that shit.
No,
right?
Never again.
I saw how miserable you were last year. I was
People
sick.
just
I was sick.
know.
I think I had the Chinese flu and the Wuhan flu, and you and you were just I remember leaving the room. I was feeling like shit. You looked like you'd seen it. You were pissed off.
I called Laura and I said, I really like it here. And she,
dude, Boise was it.
This
man.
is true. I said, I really like Boise, and she's like, well, that's nice. Maybe we can go visit. I was like, well, I mean, what if I just stay here and you come up? I'm like, surely there's a high school up here that plays soccer.
I have a plan, but here's the deal: is I have a plan. Like I've started thinking about where I would send you. All right, and I just need to know how many days can you be gone?
I mean, whatever.
Because some of it, and it will be in the United States.
Yeah, it has to be in the United States. I don't have a passport.
Yeah, it'll be in the United States.
So if I need a passport, I need to go get a passport.
Yeah, I got you, dog. I'm not gonna do that to you.
Yeah. Once we get past, I don't even think the February signing day is going to be a big deal. Once we get past the signing period, and then we get past the bowl game, whenever, however long.
Okay, we'll talk about it. But I got a small plan.
Okay, I've got to take a plane, a train, and a bus. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And not know where you're going until we get to the airport.
Yeah.
All right. So I did think about this.
The only thing I do ask for, like, give me a rough idea of how many days I'm looking at, so I generally know how much.
Yeah, I would do that. Yeah. I would do that, but it could. We'll do that. All right. Here's my stipulations. Okay, and I thought about this. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it where I at least can enjoy the day around it. So the 3 haunted cities, they got plenty of things to do from the ghost. I want to do something either in Mobile.
Okay.
Savannah, Georgia.
Okay.
Or Charleston, South Carolina.
Okay.
Charleston's my favorite city in the planet, so I'm just going to let everybody know. And I can go see family on the way and back.
Yeah.
So those are my 3 that I'm probably. And then here's the thing: is before y'all start sending me all these freaking haunted houses, because dude, everybody's freaking sending me haunted houses.
If you send me on a boat, by the way, the boat can replace the bus.
Okay, the boat can replace the bus. No, you get to pick that. That's how you get back. I'm sending you on a plane somewhere. You got to figure out how to get back.
But
you can take a boat.
But getting back, you have to take 3 modes of transportation.
Yes.
Okay.
You could take a boat instead of a bus. I'm good with that.
Okay.
All right. But here's my stipulations: is we need to have, if I lose, it needs to be somewhere that has Wi-Fi or internet connection, because I'm going to live stream it.
Right.
Okay. That's what everybody wants to see.
Yes.
I understand that everybody wants me to lose. I don't need everybody to tell me you're pulling for freaking Neal. I get it. I think Bob is the only one that's pulling for me, because Bob's he's got to go with my ass. He's been trying to sneak out of it, but Bob, your ass is going. So, and then we had a really brave guy that was talking shit yesterday on your board, and I said, okay, you're invited. And he's like, oh, well, see what had happened was, oh, no, bullshit. If it ain't that bad, he's like, I don't believe in ghosts. Okay.
See, I think you're more conditioned to ghost now. I mean, like, there's a ghost just right around there, and you're not worried about it. And you're up here all the time. And she had she's just friendly ghost.
I don't mind ghosts until they mess with me.
Okay. So we need to send you someplace that has a history of messing with people.
No, we don't. But I know I know how this shit works. I mean, I'm not an idiot. Anyway, let's
You're like just panicked, and I'm like, the more I think about it, just like chilling someplace for like 3 days by myself sounds pretty good.
All right, so here we go. Let's go over it. So Neal has a point.
You'll have to work hard to make it torture for me.
All right, I can't read this shit.
0.96.
All right, here we go.
So it's basically one game.
But after, 60, so you're 71, 74, and 4. So after 159 games, it comes down to game number 160.
If I win tonight, I will win the competition by 1.96. And if you win tonight, you will win by 0.04.
That is correct.
Like I said, I'm totally at peace. But whatever.
First of all, and then all right, so here we go. Neal, and then some people were pissed off about how I picked the games. There was only 10 games. What the hell did you want me to do? All right, so Neal, you took New Mexico State plus the 11. Liberty, dude, I don't know if you watched any of these games or not.
I saw the beginning of it. We had
no defense.
We had some people over Friday nights. I didn't see a lot of the first two games.
Defense was optional in this game.
Can you believe that? It's Laura's friends,
but
they were. I know.
Did Laura have friends over? Or did
Laura had friends, and she brought their husbands. And so
I got you.
For one night, my wife found friends for me.
There you go. All right, so Liberty wins. They cover. They win 49-35. No defense at all. Liberty gets in. Quick U client Liberty. How about that? First year Quick U, and by gosh, we're in the Fiesta Bowl. Go undefeated.
How about that?
Get you some of that, Liberty. Liberty Flames.
The causation and join Quick U. Go to the Fiesta Bowl. There you go.
How it works. All right. The game that I didn't feel good about, to the point, just I expected to happen. Texas beats Oklahoma 49-21. Dominated the game.
Yeah.
Texas is playing.
They look really good.
They're just they're
It's
good.
what I didn't want to say last week when everybody was super worked up about Ole Miss and the Citrus Bowl, and they wanted the Cotton and they wanted Texas. I don't know that you want pissed off Texas. I really don't. But I didn't say that. But now I can say that I don't think you would have wanted pissed off Texas.
No, they're playing extremely well right now. I fully expect an Alabama-Texas rematch for the national championship.
I think I do too.
I think. Did you see Michigan's reaction when Alabama got?
Yeah.
Ooh, I've seen that look before. Notre Dame had that look back in 2011. Hey, you don't want none. They already back crawfishing. Like, hey man, these stolen signals are a big deal. I think we should get suspended. All right, you had the Green Wave -3.5. It's SMU.
Yeah, I didn't know that they were going to announce that he was leaving in the middle of the game. I probably would have gone a different direction.
Wouldn't have mattered. How about this? Do you know I'm one of the very few people probably watch this game because I know Ole Miss had a basketball game going at the same time.
Yeah.
Tulane had 66 yards of total offense in the first half.
Wow.
66 yards, and that was with a touchdown drive. They could not – I mean, SMU completely dominated them on defense. That's where that game was won. And SMU turned the ball over 4 times. This game could have been a blowout. SMU looked really good. If anybody has a complaint about the selection committee, SMU would probably deserve to be in the – not probably, they deserve to be in the New Year's Six as the Group of 5 representative. They look really good. Turned the ball over 4 times and I'm talking about inside the 10, Neal. I'm not talking about just randomly. Inside the 10. They completely dominated that game. The Michigan Wolverines shut out. You win this one. They shut out the Iowa Hawkeyes. If you bet on Iowa not to score in the first half or second half, you would have won. They beat them 26-0. With that being said, they should have covered. They had a punt return for a touchdown. They turned the ball over like 2 or 3 times deep. Like, they played well enough on defense to cover the spread. They did not.
They're a very good defensive team.
They are good on defense.
They really
are. They just put you to sleep on offense.
It's bad.
Makes you wonder, though, is this kind of like one of these academy teams when they get somebody in there that knows what they're doing offensively? Is it going to hurt the defense? Because they need that stuff on the other side. But they did. They played their ass off. And then one I felt really good about, because I really wasn't even considering betting this game, but you did. You took Toledo -8, and then every expert in America between Thursday and Saturday picked Miami of Ohio, and the line started going down, and Miami of Ohio wins outright 23-14 over Toledo.
Yeah, that was my mistake.
So I ended up getting you 3-2. So I made up 2 units on the college on that. And this is where the whole game was won and lost right here. You took UNLV money line. They lose to Boise 44-20. Boise dominated the game. I watched it. Wasn't even particularly close.
This is where I deserved to lose because there were 2 money lines that, frankly, I liked better. I liked Alabama better, and I liked Washington better. I just went with this one for some reason. I don't know.
Yep.
Dumb.
Well, you tried to get the unit because it was a low one.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
And you and that 0.8 ends up being a big deal because I took the Alabama money line at +180. It hits. And that is the difference between, because I was down 0.76, so I took 0.80. It hits. Alabama beats Georgia 27-24. Look, I said this today. I think if they played 10 more times, I think the score would be 5-5. Those are 2 evenly matched teams. two good football teams. I think Georgia's one of the 4 best teams in the country, but I'm not on the committee, and I get it. I'm not arguing. I'm just saying that if you ask me who the 4 best are, I still think they're one of the 4 best. I think if Alabama and Georgia were in the playoffs, they'd meet again. I think they're the 2 best teams in the country on their respective sides. But look, that was just a hell of a game. A hell of a game. At the end of the day, like we talked about I talked about it for sure on Friday. I can't remember if I talked about it on this show. I talked about it on Tony's show. The matchup with Burton and against number 6, the corner at Georgia, he got after him pretty good and makes a bunch of big plays and explosive plays. And Ladd McConkey getting early hurt. And then Carson Beck's first time all year, 1, they got to Carson Beck, but 2, he started pressing in the second half. He started making some throws. I mean, he probably had 4 picks that were not picks. He started trying to force the ball to Brock Bowers. He started panicking a little bit. And that was probably the difference. It killed some drives. And they missed they dunked the field goal and ended up costing them. They lose by 3 points, 27-24, which is technically a playoff game because I think those were two of the 4 best. All right, Neal, National Football League. You took the Pittsburgh Steelers -5.5. They lose to the Cardinals 24-10.
Yeah, it was bad.
Felt really good. I also took this game. I had the under at 41.5. I felt really good when it was pissing rain outside and they had to stop the game like 2 or 3 times for the weather.
Yep.
Yeah, man. I was a little surprised that they won. Wasn't surprised they covered, but you lose that game. You had the Buccaneers. Ends up being the difference in the game. Were you watching any of this last night at all in the afternoon?
Not really.
So the Buccaneers.
I watched a little bit of Lions Saints, and then I got the first part of my day was spent getting yelled at about recruiting, and then I had to work, and then I got on a Zoom.
Gotcha. So here was the deal. This was 21-10 game. If you win this game, it's over. I can't catch you.
Which one was this?
So going into the afternoon window yesterday, I don't know if you were aware of that.
I was not.
All right. You had to lose this game.
Which game?
The Carolina Panthers-Buccaneers game.
Oh, yeah.
I had to win the 49ers game. So you had to lose. I had to win to even have a chance tonight.
Yeah.
Fourth quarter, like 5 minutes
In case you haven't
left.
picked up on this, I expect to lose. And so when I lose,
you ain't putting that mojo.
Here's the truth.
You ain't putting that fake mojo on me.
When I lose, I'm like, oh, I lost. I'm more shocked if I win, right? Like I heard people doing the Ohtani thing with me. I'm like, dude. Like I had someone ask me today, are you going to be crushed if he goes to the Dodgers? And I was like, no, you don't know me. You just showed in that sentence that you don't know me at all. Like my reaction to Shohei Ohtani going to the Dodgers is, yeah.
Kyle, I'll get to you in just a second. We'll get done with this. So 21-10, the Buccaneers are winning. You got the Buccaneers -5. All right. They drive down, Neal, with like 5 minutes to go. And they score. They have 4th and 2. Okay.
Okay.
They're down 10. They're down 11. 4th and 2. And what does Bryce Young do? He chunks that bitch deep. And they catch it at like the 8 on 4th and 2. So I was like, oh. They find a way to score with 5 minutes to go. They find a way to score. So then they got to go for 2. So if they don't get the 2-point conversion, it pushes and you win. They get the 2-point conversion. You lose. So you lost that game. Ended up being a big one. Cowboys, they do not cover against the Seahawks in a no defensive game. Seahawks, DK Metcalf, big game. Had like 100 yards in the first quarter. But they don't cover. They did beat the Seahawks 41-39. A little surprising there. And I thought they had a little bit more success in the passing game than I thought they would have. The Lions, they cover by 1 point. They beat the Saints 33-28. You had the Lions -4. And then in the weirdest cover of all time, you had the Chargers -5.5. And they cover by scoring 6 points in the game. They scored 6 points in the game and covered a 5.5-point spread because the Patriots got shut out at home. Another pissing rainstorm.
Yeah, it was a lot of rain.
You called that one, by the way. You said that you liked the under in that game, too.
I did. See, I should have just doubled down.
You should have doubled down.
Yeah.
All right, I took the Jets +3. They did not cover. They lose 13-8 because they had to score a touchdown to try to win, kick a field goal instead. But I do not cover there. Jets are in major trouble. I would not look for Aaron Rodgers to play this year. After that, game of the week, 49ers, 42, Eagles 19. Had the 49ers -3. Dude, they look like the real deal. I mean, they are a complete team, man.
Yep.
I just talking about rolling ball butcher knives.
Yep.
If they get to the playoffs with this kind of momentum, nobody can stop them.
Agreed.
I mean, I knew
Agreed.
that was revenge game. That was easy money. All right, I had the under. We'll talk about that in the Steelers-Cardinals game. All right, I had the under in the Titans-Colts game. I almost texted you and said, hey, is it bad that they've already scored 14 points in the first minute of the game? Both teams scored it was like 14 minutes and 3 seconds on the clock, and the score was 7-7. Oh, and just so everybody knows, had 2 punt blocks. The Titans had 2 punt blocks back-to-back. They lined up in the same formation. They brought the same block. This is a National Football League. Like, we're going to make any adjustments on the sideline. Same formation, same punt block. Got blocked twice in a row, so did not go well for the under. So that hit. And then it comes down to the night. The Cincinnati Bengals and the Jags. I got them 38.5. We will see. Probably, if we'd known it was going to come down to one, we probably would have done a live stream tonight. That'd have been fun, but I got to go to the Christmas parade, so that's not going to work out. My wife would not like me for that.
Yeah, Laura would not be pleased with me if I did a live stream tonight. And frankly, some of the subscribers at rebelgrove.com would not be pleased with me because I've got to do this portal. Do some portal stuff. Like I'm about to, literally I've got 2 or 3 recruiting calls I'm about to make, trying to come up with some news.
Some groundbreaking questions.
News.
All right.
Trying to break news from the portal.
Kyle, thanks for the super chat. It says, Tyler, what is Cedric's job at Alabama? He is always behind Saban. I don't know what his official title is, but I can tell you this. There's not a better human being at their job than that in America. He gets everything done. He does everything. So his title should be everything coordinator. He's off the field, does a lot of, I would call more of like football operations work amongst the staff. Would probably be the way to do it. He coordinates all of Coach Saban's travel as far as like anytime I would schedule travel, I would have to talk to Ced. This is what time we're leaving. He would drive for Coach Saban if he was in a car. He knows everybody in the state. He's always joked about this. Cedric Burns is the second most powerful man in the state of Alabama. It goes Nick Saban, Ced Burns, and then the governor of the state of Alabama. That's your order, and the most powerful people in the state of Alabama. He knows everybody and gets everything done. He is one of the great human beings on the planet. My 2 favorite Ced things were, I guess I got 3 good ones. I'll tell 2 quick. One, I needed to get a license plate, and it was like, I don't remember what was happening. It was the middle of the game week or something. And Ced goes, hey, man, look, give me $50. And the plate was like $43 or something in Alabama. And in 25 minutes, he showed back up with a license plate with my registration for my wife's car. That was pretty cool. When I got there, he says, what do you dip? And I said, huh? He goes, what do you dip? And I told him what I dip. Every single week, I had a roll of whatever I dipped on my desk before I got to work. He's just a stud. And then so I actually mentioned this a little bit. We had an issue with a school plane one time, and Coach Saban was in St. Louis, and I get a call. Dude, it's like 9:30, 9:45 at night. They just landed in St. Louis, and they were going to see a kid real quick, and then Coach Saban was coming home. Well, as soon as he gets off the plane, he was with Bobby Williams. I remember that. The pilots called me from the school plane and says, hey, Coach, the belt broke. When we landed, a belt broke in the landing gear. We got to get it fixed, and they don't have a part here at the airport. We got to order it. We're going to be here for 2 days. I'm like, no, you're not. So I start scrambling, dude. I'm trying to find, the NetJets or the Nicholas Air or whatever, trying to find something to get him home because, the airport's closed, obviously. And I made a phone call to the largest booster. Called him at his house at like 10:15. Now, meanwhile, just remember this. Coach Saban has no idea what's going on. I call him. This guy calls his pilots and flies his Gulfstream from Birmingham, Alabama to St. Louis, Missouri to pick up Coach Saban. So I call Coach on the way back. I text Bobby and said, let me know when you're done at this kid's house. And so Bobby texts me and says, we're done. So I called Coach and I said, hey, Coach, this is what's going on. He's pissed, but there's nothing, he's not mad at me. He's just pissed at the situation. I said, we're going to get you home. We got a plane on the way. So it goes to St. Louis. It picks him up. Dude, it's like 2 a.m. And it's like 40 degrees outside, and it's just pissing rain. It's just pissing rain. I know he's going to be pissed. Well, dude, Sed meets me at the airport, and he's going to pick up Coach Saban and take me. He's always on call. And so Sed looked at me, and he goes, "You going to be all right." It was right when I first got there. He goes, "You going to be all right." He goes, "You going to be all right." He goes, "You come up here and taking your ass ripping like you're supposed to." And he'll remember that.
Yeah.
And so, dude, they walked down. I was going to make it worse. Like Sed had the umbrella. I mean, it's pissing rain. I'll sit out there with no umbrella. Neal, just sitting out there, just getting rained on. And then I remember Nick came down at the bottom of the stairs, and he goes, "See you in the morning." He couldn't get mad at me. He wasn't even mad at me. But no, that was good. Sed's the man. That's all I got.
All right. We'll wrap it there. Appreciate everybody for being with us here in the stream. As always, brought to you by Rain Total Body Fuel. 300 milligrams natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolyte, zero sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits and achieve your goals. Check them out on Instagram at Rain Body Fuel to learn more. We'll be back on Thursday since the football season, the main part of the football season, over. We'll get out of the 3-show a week, back to the 2-show a week, back on Thursday at 2 Central Time with another edition of McCready and Siskey. Until then, take care.